back to the channel. We are working on the clone 372. That's what we're working on today, the Holtz Forma. And I've gotten some of the parts in. There's a little bit of a long lead time for one of the parts, which happens to be the on and off switch. And I went with the one that had the best reviews. So it ended up being the one with the long lead time. So, but I do have the clutch assembly, and for the most part, I think all it really needed was the drum and rim sprocket. So this rim sprocket is grooved out pretty bad. So the new rim sprocket, the old rim sprocket, as you can see, it's eat up pretty good. This one here is the same size as the old, which I believe is a 3/8 by 7. Yep. And that is the one I will be putting back on, 3/8 by 7. But this kit did come with a 3/8 by 8. And as you can see, the difference between is quite a bit. But if you wanted to cut faster and you had enough motor to do that with, you could use the 8 instead of the 7. And this drum was starting to get cut on the inside, so I opted to get this kit since it came with pretty much everything. I believe you guys got to see this before in another video, but there's our clutch and there's our hub. So let's get this old one popped off of here. And all this is going to do is just act like a piston stop. Just stuff your rope in there, and when you bring the piston around, the rope will stop it so that you're able to either take off your clutch or your flywheel or something like that. Okay. I might have to make a socket. There we go. We got it. All right. kit did come with a new oil pump drive, and we will probably use it because the one that's in here has some scars on it. I don't know, maybe something got in there and got tumbling around. But it's a little boogered up a little bit. So I'm going to take this outside, blow it off in here a little bit. Remove that pump drive, and then we can put the clutch back on. Golly day. Alright, I got it cleaned out fairly good in here. And everything seems to look good inside here. There's your oil pump right here. And this one's nice. It's an adjustable oil pump, so it's got an adjustment screw right there. And this is the oil pump drive. And on this one, it had some wear on it. Boy, I wish this thing would focus on its own like it's supposed to. But you can see there's something got in there and boogered that up right in that area and over in this area. And my guess is going to be a buildup of debris. So we're going to go ahead and replace it since we already have one. It came in the kit. The new one looks just like the old one. So we should be good to go. And all that does is just sit in here like so. So these little gears on the back here, they look like pipe threads or something. They will mesh with the pump worm gear right down in here. You can barely see it. Just give it a little turn, that'll help everything lock into place. Then your clutch, that just tightens down on top of that. Let's do a little bit of grease on the inside of here, just to lubricate that a little bit. See something here. Clean this off real quick. We'll be right back. Not sure. We might have to use the old one. Yep. So there's evidently a slight difference in the oil pump drive. Once you snug that down, you can't turn it. It sits a little higher than the old one does. I could probably take it off of the threaded area here, because I don't know if you can see that or not, but the old one is slightly taller. I mean, the new one is slightly taller. Because when I put this on there and I just hand tighten that clutch into place, I'm not able to reach down there and turn the pump freely. I can already see that the old one, it will turn freely. So what the problem is there's a shoulder here on this shaft. Let me unhook you. I also want to plug you in too. So right here, right there is a shoulder. That's what the clutch tightens against. As you can see here, this oil pump drive sits below that shoulder. And this is the old drive. The new drive does not sit below that shoulder. I can run my fingernail across that shoulder and catch it on the drive. I believe the only way that I'm going to remedy that problem is to take it off the bottom here. And I'm not going to do that today. This will just have to, because I got to get that as square as possible when I do it. I'm not sure how I would do that yet. There's really nothing wrong with this old one. I was just going to change it out for two reasons. It was boogered up where something got in there. That's really no big deal. And I had one in a kit, so I was just going to put it on there. There is a little bit of wear on that tip. So maybe I'll find a way how to get that knocked down so that it'll fit in here like it's supposed to. So aftermarket parts are nice, but you always got to check them. If I had just put that clutch on there without double checking stuff and tighten that right down, this would have turned all the time. And it's not supposed to turn all the time. It's only supposed to turn when the when the saw gets up to a certain RPM, the clutch will start to spread out and grab the drum. And when the drum grabs, that's when it's supposed to grab the pump drive, because the pump drive sits in there like this. And then that's when it's supposed to start turning this drive to oil the chain, because they don't oil the chain when they're sitting there idling. Not supposed to anyway. All right, let me see what I can do with this pump drive, and I'll bring you guys back. Okay, so what I've decided to do is go ahead and knock the bottom of this down to the same as the other one. And all I'm doing is taking my calipers and just measuring it like so. And then I'll turn it 90 degrees and I'll measure it again. And the original turned out to be 0.5050 is what it turned out to be. And I'm trying to get the new one down to that. That's basically what the old one is right there. And I'm trying to get this new one down to that. So I found a machined surface, which ended up being my my drill press, my old Craftsman drill press. And found some 60 grit sandpaper. And I set it down on that machined surface. And all I'm doing is just counting to 10. And I'll count to 10 with it like so. And then I'll turn it 90 degrees and count to 10 again. Another 90 degrees, count to 10 again while I'm moving across the paper in a circular motion. Turn it again and count to 10 again. That's all I'm doing. And that'll help keep it even all the way around. That way it's not tilted or anything like that. That's all I'm doing. Seems to be working out good. Rotate it 90 degrees, do it again. "90 degrees, do it again." Blow the dust off. Measure it again. So I got 0.5080, 90 degrees. So it's a little off. Little cattywampus, but. And that way is 0.5130. So we're getting it there. All right, I'm back. I got this thing sanded down pretty good. It may not be perfect, but it'll work, and it'll work fine. I got it down to 50-50, and I think when I turn it 90 degrees is like 49 something. So all the threads are still there. They're still in good shape. There's nothing wrong with them. That little clip I showed you, what I was doing with it, that's a poor man's mill. And it works. You just have to take your time with it. And it does work. I did get it to the point to where it is down below the shoulder of that shaft. So now the clutch can tighten up against the shaft like it's supposed to. And we have a new part in here now, so I'll get you a close-up on that so you can see what I mean. See that now? See how it sits below that shoulder now? And when I tighten that clutch up down there, it'll tighten up on that shoulder, and I'll be able to move this freely like I'm supposed to. But before I did that, I was not able to rotate this because the clutch had actually tightened up against this, and it's not supposed to. And that would cause the oiler to turn all the time. As long as the motor was turning, it would be turning. And it's not supposed to. The oiler's not supposed to oil until the engine gets to a certain RPM and overcomes the springs on your clutch. And then when that happens, it'll grab your clutch drum. And when it grabs the clutch drum, it will engage the oil pump. And that's what we have now. Let's see if we can't get this back together. And we'll do like we did last time. We'll snug this up by hand. And we'll verify everything before tightening everything up. Yep. Last time I kept turning it and turning it. I could feel the resistance and I had to keep turning it, and then basically what that was doing was probably pushing that oiler up against maybe the seal or the oil pump, most likely the oil pump. There we go. That joker's moving like it's supposed to. Now I don't have to worry about tightening that up and is it going to turn or not, because I know that it will. And there we go. Just like it's supposed to. All right. Let's see if we can't get this buttoned up. It would be nice if I had all the parts for it. And I could start this thing up and run it, and I'd just choke it just to shut it down or something. We'd be able to play with it a little bit. But we'll see. Let me get this snugged up on here. That should be pretty good. Just double check that oiler again. Oiler drive gear moving freely. We're good. That clutch will finish tightening up after we get her started. We'll slam that brake a couple times. Guys, I appreciate you stopping by and visiting my channel. And if you would give me a thumbs up and subscribe, and send me some comments, and let me know what you think, and I'd greatly appreciate that. Oh, where's my pliers? Crap. I got ahead of myself. Got ahead of myself. Forgot to put the sprocket on. Yeah, forgot to put the sprocket on. Like I said before, this is the 3/8 7-tooth. And that should match the bar and the chain. And remember, this has got that 28-inch bar. And this bar has already been cleaned up and dressed. So yeah, 3/8, 50 thou, and 93 drive lengths. Even though it's Holtz-Forma has copied Husqvarna, so you can use the Husqvarna bars and stuff on it. To the best of my knowledge, you can use, so any of the Chinese parts that might break on this, you can replace it with the name brand. Some of the issues that I've read and heard people talk about on some of these are like the coils, and when they go bad, they just replace it with the Husky coils. Or if it's the steel version, they'll the steel coil or something. But so basically, all I'm waiting for is the on and off switch. And that has a little bit of a lead time, anywhere from the middle of February to the end of February. Other than that, this thing's for the most part done. And this plug is set for 30 thou, which should be fine. For a saw this big. I even set my smaller saws to 30,000. The only thing left over out of this kit is the larger sprocket, the larger 8-tooth. So I'll give that to the customer. He can use it if he wants to. Okie doke. I have gotten the side cover back on, and I have gotten the muffler on but not tightened down yet, and I think now I'll try to put this top cover back on. Well, maybe. I think I got to get it around the intake boot, I do believe. Oh, there we go, duh. That was a no-brainer. All right. Here's the good there. Around the rubber boot. I think we're good there. I guess we could put the bar and chain on. There's our top cover. I took and cleaned everything up fairly good too. It ain't nothing perfect, but it's a lot better than it was. Well, we're getting closer to running this thing. We'll go over the sights are already painted black and it's starting to wear off. We'll go over it with Sharpie. We're going to take our time with it. We're not going to get sloppy with it. There's a chain that's already been sharpened. Get this out of our way. Back here. There. Grab our bar. Starting to rain. I think it's supposed to rain for the most part, on and off, from here up until Tuesday, I think, on and off. Side cover. So this also has two sets of dogs on it. One on the inside and one on the outside. That's kind of nice for your bigger saws. Starting to look like a saw again. Like we discussed earlier, we're just going to bring our chain up to the bottom of the bar. And then we're going to tip it forward onto the tip of the bar. We're going to get that slack out of there, which in this case there isn't any. Very little. We'll snug these bar nuts up. And we'll give it a run cut. There we go. Fire this thing up. I know we're still waiting on a start-stop switch, but there's that. Brake seems to be working. But all we have to do is choke it and it'll shut down and it won't hurt anything. I do need to finish snugging up the exhaust. Always double check. Double check what you got. Don't want to forget anything. That can happen. All right. There we go. All right. She runs pretty good. Looks like she's a little fat. And when the stop switch does get here, we'll get that installed, and that won't take much to do. Hook your 2 wires up and push it in, and you'll be good to go. I suggest that you, before you push it in, you hook up your 2 wires and you test it. Put it in the stop position and make sure it won't start. If it does start, you know you got your wires on backwards, and just switch them around real quick, and then you know you're good to go, and push it in. Appreciate you stopping by, checking out my shop, and learning what it is I do. And I hope you like what I do, and give me a thumbs up, subscribe, and send me some comments. I'd like to hear from you. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you're working on something like this. Be kind and help people when you can.